Hi, I'm Draxtor Despres with more talk about the intersection of documentary film and the social web from the Producers Institute at the Bay Area Video Coalition in San Francisco. Gita Pullapilly is the producer of the movie The Way We Get By. Here at BAVC, her team developed a Web 2.0 component with the working title of Returning Home. Gita, please tell our audience a bit more about your film.
The movie takes place in a small town in Bangor, Maine, where a group of senior citizen volunteers dedicate their lives to greeting troops heading over to war and returning home. And so far they've made history by greeting almost 850,000 troops. And it's a story really about aging in America and what it means to be able to volunteer in your community and community activism.
It's fascinating to see how committed these senior citizens are to what they do.
Yeah, I mean, they're at the airport 24/7. Whenever there's a flight, they're always there. So Bill Knight, a subject in our film, he's there at 11 o'clock at night, he's there at 2 o'clock in the morning. Whenever there's a flight, they're there. But it's that commitment and that sacrifice that they're making that's amazing, it's moving. But then you go back home with them and see what happens in their personal lives, and then you get to see the real commitment and why it means so much to them.
You have a lot of protagonists in this film, plus this multitude of larger issues, aging in America, the military engagement overseas, the whole politics surrounding the war. How and when did you decide what to really focus on in the movie?
Yeah, that was a huge challenge. When we first started doing this story, it was really about what was at the airport. And we thought, it's going to be a short documentary. And we said, the war will be over in a year and we can move on. And, what a great story about this one really pure thing that happens in this airport that, everybody else has these motives. But here at this airport, it was just this beautiful thing that really moved us. And then we started going home with these subjects. There's so many obstacles in their lives that they face. And they consistently, for the 4 years, would go there no matter what health problems they had, financial problems, what happened in their personal lives. And it started to inspire us. But what happened was it actually started changing us as filmmakers. And it wasn't about, we have to finish this film now. It was really finding out how their journey was going to end through this process.
Now, the Web 2.0 project for your film, Returning Home, is pretty extensive. You had 10 days here at BAVC to focus on that. What have you come up with?
Well, what this project is, it's really an online resource. There's huge implications if we don't actually do something now to be able to help our troops with PTSD, depression, family violence, homelessness with our veterans. So the first line of defense is actually communication. The whole concept that we designed as an online resource has 3 parts. It has a public wall, which is kind of like the first stage where you bring people into this site. You get to share stories. They can be funny. They can be sad. Then there's a second page, which is the visual wall, and that's a place where families can come, friends can come, and share their most personal experiences that they want people to know about their loved ones. And there have been such powerful examples that we've been putting on the visual wall already that we've noticed how impactful it's really been. And then the third component, which is kind of the really creative, exciting one that we're really excited about, is called the virtual care package. It allows people to share letters and emails and photos through this caring journey that we're starting to establish with our veterans. And they can do it before they leave or on their way back or whenever. They can send it to a Vietnam veteran. And then you can also put things in there like an iTunes gift card or an Amazon gift card so they can physically be in Iraq or Afghanistan and download all these pieces of love from family members and friends all over the world.
The interactive components are usually no problem to navigate for the so-called digital natives, but you're dealing with older folks here in the film. How will they be able to communicate using this technology?
It was a challenge at first to try to figure out, but what we realized is that a segment of the group will never ever get onto a computer, first of all. But more importantly, we made our site really user-friendly. So someone just has to give them a phone number and they can dial in an audio message. If you want to get grandma included, it means that mom has to reach out and say, let's email them or let's do something. It gets everybody involved who shares the same common ground with this person involved.
And also on the soldier's side, it might not be that easy all the time to access a computer to retrieve these messages, right?
If he has a smartphone, he can open it up on his phone and actually see what was sent. What I truly, really do imagine with this is that there's a soldier that's come home from Afghanistan or Iraq for a few years and is just really struggling and isolated and he can't communicate. And he comes to our site and he starts reading the stories and he starts opening up. And finally, he's starting to find his journey back home, So this is just the starting point, but it can have amazing impact on everybody.
Thank you, Gita. That was Gita Pullapilly. In Second Life, she goes by the name of Gita Villasimo. Her film, The Way We Get By, directed by Aaron Godet, is being screened around the country. Check out their website for dates and locations. I'm Draxtor Despres with conversations about art, technology, and social justice, brought to you by BAVC in San Francisco.